Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name's Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're in Boston, Massachusetts. We're meeting with a number of companies in the area. And on our program today is Hyoun Park. He's a research analyst in collaboration and unified communications at research company Aberdeen Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So what are some of the exciting things you're seeing these days?
Yeah, so collaboration in communications is a very exciting field right now, and I've got so many things that I'm covering in right now and through 2012. I'm going to be looking at video conferencing, streaming video, social, unified communications, as well as all the management tools that IT is using to take care of all of this. And at Aberdeen, we're really seeing this as part of a bigger trend where enterprise IT is dealing with social, mobile, and cloud.
And so trend-wise, there seems to be a lot of convergence. What are you seeing?
Absolutely. That convergence is defining our technology usage both in our individual lives as well as in the enterprise world. So when we think about how we use technology, for instance, you will have cloud services such as Google, Amazon, maybe even eBay, ways that we use incredible amounts of computing and storage. Outside of that, we get to the social layer where we're dealing with Facebook, Skype, all of these technologies that didn't exist even just a few years ago, but now are commonplace for how we deal with the social world. And then on top of that, outside of that, we got the mobile layer. So these iPhones, these Android phones, these tablets, all of these different ways of interacting with all the data, all the people. So at Aberdeen, we see there's this social, mobile, and cloud, what we're calling SOMOCLO, this SOMOCLO environment that all of us have created around our own lives. And to get around that, to figure out how to make that work, we then go to the enterprise where they're seeing how each employee has set this up, and they have to figure out how do we make that personal SOMOCLO world fit with this enterprise IT world that we've traditionally created with software and telecom and the hardware, the data center, and everything else. So there's this real butting of heads that's happening right now, and we're pretty excited to be explaining how this has changed enterprise IT over the next year.
And that's how you generate your revenue, is that you do research and you sell reports, right? Is that generally what you do?
So our focus is on providing end user research. So first and foremost, we want to figure out what's happening out in the end user world. So as part of my research practice, I'll be going out to the end user community 7 times next year and asking them, what are your key pressures? What are your strategic actions? What are you doing internally to use technology? And then what kinds of technologies and services are you using to improve your communications and collaboration capabilities?
And by end user, you're defining that as corporations, right?
Corporations,
Okay.
the business corporations, because we're focused on business IT at Aberdeen. And then based on that, we also want to figure out what kind of performance did you have over the past year. So in terms of communications, you might be talking about the total cost of ownership as well as the ability to react to problems in the organization or be able to reach the right types of expert contacts. And by seeing which companies are able to do that better than everybody else and seeing what they're doing differently, we can start figuring out what's really important in the IT world. So our model is to get that end user benchmark information that prioritizes what's most important in the IT world, and then to show that information in the reports and other research assets that we create.
So then companies, I would imagine typically vendors in the market, will purchase your research so that they can learn what's happening with their customers and what they're looking for and what the trends are and what's happening.
Right, and to be able to help show end users what's happening in the IT world in the here and now, because all of our research is based on new market research that's happened typically in the last 3 to 6 months before the report is published.
So from your perspective, how long is it going to take for the company to become the social company, where they're using some sort of enterprise social networking tools, either in conjunction with or instead of their, I'm going to say, disjointed solutions of IM and email and some other systems that they have for communications?
So we've always been social in terms of how we do business. Having teams working together, these aren't new concepts. This is just part of business as usual. The trick is, how do we get that feedback and how do we work together when we're remote or when one of your key team members may not be a part of your company? They may be a partner, they might be a supplier, or they might even be a key customer who's driving your products. And that's where we need to be focusing on how to make social work. So I think part of the confusion out there is that a lot of companies have tried to use everything under the sun. They've used social networking tools that are consumer-based and much better built for broadcast and PR type purposes, and tried to make that into a strategic collaboration solution. Obviously, there's a mismatch there between the tool and what you're trying to get done. So we're all already social organizations.
But in terms of like an enterprise Facebook, where there's a single, like a Cisco Quad, let's say, or a Salesforce Chatter, where everyone is on that system, and that begins to become the main way that everyone communicates and collaborates. Do you see that happening?
So currently the way we do it is typically through SharePoint. SharePoint is definitely the 800-pound gorilla out there in terms of content management, and then by proxy as a method of maintaining collaboration. We're trying to go to the next level, and SharePoint's trying to get there too by being more social. So that combination of content and messaging, which has traditionally been from the email and IM world, are definitely coming together. That's where these Quad and Jive and some of these other social solutions are coming into play. I think that as the vendors get better as combining that content with the social capabilities, with the messaging capabilities, and bring that all together, that's when we're going to see these social platforms really shine as the primary platform. And we're getting there. We're definitely seeing companies being more comfortable with social and with messaging. It's just a matter of getting that one platform that works. So I can definitely see in the next 3 to 5 years companies moving towards these social platforms that really do represent the center of interaction for the company.
So we've talked a lot about trends and what's happening in the future. I'm wondering, are there any other things that we should know about that are going to happen in the future, whether you might feel comfortable making some predictions about 2012, 13, 14, and beyond?
So we don't usually get in the prediction business. We usually try to focus directly on what the end users are telling us on a month-to-month basis. But as we look out in the bigger world, seeing that cloud at the center, seeing that social layer around it, and then seeing mobility on the outside, we see really all applications having to figure out, and all vendors having to figure out, where do we fit in this world? Are solutions going to be cloud-based? Are they, in terms of continuity, in terms of storage? Are they social enough? Are they getting the right people involved? Are we getting enough inputs? For instance, even in telecom expense management, it's seen as very tactical. But if you're not getting enough input from the right people, you're not going to have the right information in place. So even in something as tactical as that, we're seeing social being important. That goes broadly throughout the rest of the world. And then with mobile, are you getting the information from the right places, the mobile devices, the other points of interaction that take place?
Right.
So everybody is going to have to start thinking, how do we fit into that social mobile cloud world?
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was very informative and I'm sure useful to the audience. So thanks again.
Great. Thank you.